Hello, my lovely YouTubers. We are way overdue for an orchid collection update. I am so late with this one, so I'll probably do this orchid collection update and then not do one for December. I'll just do blooming videos for December instead, because this one is so late. I've just been crazy busy with school and work and things like that. I do want to give a quick shout out to one of my Instagram followers, HJP Basan, I think is how you pronounce it. I will put your name down here at the bottom. Thank you for following me on Instagram. He wanted me to give him a quick shout out, so hey! So first things first, let's start out with something pretty and blooming. This is my Potinara Exotic Dream Orange Passion. I absolutely love this one. This is the first time it's bloomed for me. I actually got it from the Orchid Gallery off eBay. It was listed as one of their rescue plants that they were selling for a fraction of what it normally would sell for. So I got this one and two others. One of them ended up dying. I wasn't able to rescue it. And then there is another one, and I don't think it's close to blooming yet. I forget which one it is off the top of my head. But this one has bloomed beautifully. I just love all of the fine details. It has a velvety texture on the lip, and then it has sort of a flaring in the petals, and it smells fantastic. It has a very sweet, rich Cattleya fragrance. The lighting might be bad over on this side of my grow space, so I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys a quick update over here. There's not a whole lot going on. I really just have new growths. This is my Cattleya Rex seedling. It has a new growth right there, and the roots hang down. It seems to like this setup. I wish I would have done this with my Cattleya Dowiana, because with these particular species orchids, species Cattleyas, I should say, they really do appreciate a drying between waterings, and with my Dowiana especially, I'll give you guys an update on that one, I wasn't allowing it to properly dry between waterings, and partly that was my fault, but also partly not my fault because of the medium that it was in. It was in this gravelly, disgusting mixture that I'd never grown in before, but because I didn't want to repot it during the wrong time of the year, I ended up just leaving it be, and I guess that was the demise of the plant. But I mounted this one, and it's doing fantastically on this mount here. You can see all of the roots coming out every which way. And then same thing with my LC Culminant Latulary. It just has a new growth right there. These are the seedlings that I got from Wade at Wade's Orchids. If you guys are unfamiliar with Wade, if you don't follow him on his YouTube channel, he has an awesome collection of orchids, and he's always getting new things in. He just got a ton of new seedlings and compots, so be sure to follow him on his channel, and also I will post a link to his website in case you guys aren't familiar with Wade's Orchids. But I got these earlier this year from Wade, and they're doing really well. I'm letting them dry a little bit more between waterings. I was keeping them moist, but because most of these are dendrobiums that sort of take a winter rest, I'm not watering them as much as I was earlier this year, and it seems to be working so far. We've got Dendrobium smileae and Dendrobium bractescens, and then Dendrobium amethystoglossum. And then this is the Richard Mueller cross. I wasn't treating it the best, so it is slowly recovering from my neglect. I wasn't watering it, and yeah, you gotta water your orchids. And then over here, this is my little experimental mount. I had some extra Brassavola nodosa seedlings, and I just put them on this piece of cork, and they seem to be doing really well, actually better than the ones that I potted into community pots. Okay, now we are looking down on the floor, obviously. This is where I'm keeping all of my dendrobiums, my nobiles, and my laturias, because they do like it a little bit cooler, and they do appreciate lots of airflow. This section gets lots and lots of airflow, and it does get a bright southern exposure. So here is my tried and true Laturia bloomer. This is Dendrobium alexandrae by Hodgkinsonii. This is a primary hybrid, and it's actually getting ready to open up its blooms. So excited. I will keep you guys updated. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, because that's where I post blooming pictures of my orchids before I make a video about them. But this guy seems to have a varying number of blooms per spike. Sometimes they only have one, and then sometimes they'll have two, and then this one, of course, has four. So just a varying number of buds, and I think that was because I was giving it kind of inconsistent care. I wasn't fertilizing it regularly, so that could be part of the reason. But I just love this guy. He always blooms. He's a little bit early this year, but he does have 6 spikes, so I'm pretty excited regardless. And then right here we have my Dendrobium nobile, which I have not cut water for just yet because it is growing 2 brand new growths. If you guys can see, there's one right here, and then there's one in the back. So because it is growing the new growths, I have not cut water for it. And this is one of those examples where you just sort of have to go with the flow. If you have a Catasetum or a Dendrobium nobile and they're growing new growths, you shouldn't completely cut out water, or, you know, I'll show you guys my seedling Catasetums that I'm actually still watering and fertilizing regularly. And like I said, we're at the end of November, so you just sort of have to go with the flow. You don't want to deny the plant the ability to make more energy reserves, which is what the pseudobulbs essentially are. They are energy reserves. So I have this one, which is my Love Memory Fizz, and then down there is my Dendrobium, I think it's Alba Hood, and it's making this new growth right here. And then here to the side we have another Laturia. This is Dendrobium Roy Tokunaga. I don't think that's going to focus. There we go. And then here is my Dendrobium Finisterre. This is another Laturia type Dendrobium. So you can kind of see they either come with these short fat pseudobulbs or the long pencil-like pseudobulbs. And this one is just making a new growth. It's not really doing anything. Don't worry guys, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me go through all of these. I just wanted to show you sort of how I'm organizing my orchids and things like that, so I don't forget to water them, basically, because I'm very, very bad. Especially when I have like small seedling types, I completely forget about them and then they go dry, and sometimes they do end up dying. These are all my community pots. I've got Cattleya Eerie Color, and then I have Cattleya Lumita, I believe it is. So I keep them all in the front here. That way I, remember to water them. And then in the back, these are all of my Bulbophyllums. So War Youth White Fang, Makoyanum, that one, can't remember which one that one is. And then I've got the Macranthum and the Deary Eye cross. And then this one is Bulbophyllum Maui Girl. And then up top, these are all my Coleogeny and then Paphiopedilums and Dendrochilums. So CA, which I don't know if you guys remember, I got this one from my Orchid Society and it was in really, really bad shape. And the pseudobulbs were really shriveled, and if you guys can see, they're still shriveled a little bit, but they have plumped up considerably since I planted them in sphagnum moss. And that's pretty much what I keep all of my Coleogeny in. I keep them all in sphagnum moss. So this is Coleogeny tomentosa. I think it's synonymous because this tag says Coleogeny mesangian. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And then this one is a no-name species. So I just keep these guys all together. Okay, now for a blooming one. This is really special to me because if you guys have been following me for any amount of time, you will know that I am absolutely terrible. I'm a Paph killer. And this is a Paphiopedilum that I have not managed to kill. This is Paphiopedilum I'm probably going to butcher it. It's Paphiopedilum vevarutianum, I believe. I have no idea. But it is from Burma, so I think the reason I've been able to keep this Paph alive is because it does like warmer conditions. So, yay for me. And here's my, I think it's a spent spike. I don't think there's any, yeah, there's no blooms left on that. But this guy is a bloomaholic. This is Dendrochilum bicolosum, and he's actually coming out with a ton of new growth, so I'll pull him out and let you see. So there is a new growth right there. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. And then they're just everywhere. You can probably see them if you look not long enough at the massive pseudobulbs here. And I'm really excited because I've been able to keep this guy alive for more than a year now, and I'm really hoping that he'll bloom in the spring, but I've been told he probably isn't large enough to bloom. This is my Peristeria elata. You guys probably remember him as just that one bulb right there, and then he made this newest bulb for this past growing season, and he's beginning to lose his leaves, so I've been keeping him a little bit drier, and of course giving him more sunlight, because where these guys are from, they are deciduous, from deciduous forests, and they get much more light in the winter than they do in the growing season. So hopefully he'll bloom, but I don't know. He doesn't seem as big as some of the other ones that I've seen that are blooming size, so I'll keep my fingers crossed. But he's absolutely huge. Look at those leaves. They're massive. So this is one of those that I'll have to show you when it blooms in December, because that's typically when these bloom. This is Angraecum eburnum, variation brevicalcar, I believe, and it has these adorable buds. Look at all of these buds on this. I only had, I think, one blast. Maybe another one is going to blast. This one up here at the top, I think, blasted as well. But still a fair few number of buds on this Angraecum. And since I don't have a greenhouse, it's not the easiest plant to keep happy during the winter time, so I would say that I'm doing pretty well with this guy. I know you guys are itching for me to do a cool log update, so here we go. This is my Bulbophyllum lasiocylum, and he's just hanging out here. Nice plump green growths, and he probably won't start making new growths until the springtime, so he's just kind of hanging out there. Here's another one getting ready to fully open. This is Laelia Cattleya George King Southern Cross, and I can already tell, I don't even have to look at the parentage to tell that there is Cattleya dowiana in this, because look at that yellow throat with the purple around it, the purple around the side lobes. It's absolutely beautiful. So this is one of my other tried and true bloomers. It blooms off each new growth, which I absolutely love, because sometimes you'll get Cattleyas and they'll make a growth and then not bloom on it, and then the next growth they'll bloom. So it's really refreshing and nice to have a Cattleya that blooms on each growth that it makes. This growth, however, has made the most blooms that I've ever had. I haven't counted all of the buds, but you can probably see them all right there, and it's really sticky with happy sap, which I don't mind because happy sap doesn't seem to bother my plants or me as much as it does other growers, so I kind of just let it be. And whenever my orchids get watered, occasionally I'll get water on the buds, which I also know is a huge no-no, but it sort of washes away the happy sap and keeps the numbers down. So this is Cattleya caguus ruby. And these are my ginormous Cattleyas. I have no room for them anywhere on a shelf. They have to be placed on the ground. And these are all my spring bloomers. So I've got a Portia and a, this is Astrea Ginny, and this is the division from the mother plant that I've been keeping as well. Another cool log update. This is my Masdevallia Maui Prince, and pretty much in the same condition as last time. It's just made a few new growths, and I do believe it's getting ready to bloom, but because spikes are so small on these guys, I wouldn't even be able to show you. And then here is my other cool log guy. This is Coryanthes, Bruce Muelleri, and you can just see the new roots coming off of there. It's not really making any new growths just yet. This isn't an orchid, but I'm really excited anyways because I didn't think I was going to see this guy bloom this year. This is my Taka Centillifori blah 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 blah. This is my bat plant, let's just say that. It is the black version. There's a black version and a white version. So I am really, really excited to see this guy bloom. This is my no identification Vanda that I got from Lowe's, and it is in full bloom, as you can see. Not the kind of form that I like to see on Vandas. I really like it when they have everything flat, and I don't know if that's because of the humidity and lack of water that it's been getting, because this thing is so hard to water. Look at all of those roots. You can't even put it in a bucket. There's no way you could stick that in a bucket. There's not a bucket big enough, unless I got like a tub, which, you know, I pretty much just water this thing with my spray nozzle and just soak it as much as possible. I don't even know if the lighting is going to be good enough over here, but this is my SLC Pat Thrall coming out with a bud right there. So I'll keep you guys updated whenever he blooms. Let's see, bad lighting for the Nepenthes that I have. I think it's Ventrata or something. I don't know. I'm not a carnivorous plant person. And then my Nepenthes Miranda. See if I can come over here and get a better shot. There we go. So I've also brought in my succulents, like my adeniums and my stapelias. Another blooming baby. I don't think I updated you guys on this one. He's been in bloom for a while though. This is my BLC Cattleya, BLC Green Dragoon. That was a hard one to say. He's not fragrant, I don't think. I have tried smelling him at different times of the day, and I haven't been able to detect a fragrance off of him. I guess the last thing I have to update you guys on is this shelf right here. It contains the majority of my, I guess, interesting orchids. This is my Catasetum section, and then I've also got some Cattleyas that need a little bit more light because they're either young or they're getting ready to bloom, like my BLC Husky Boy Romeo. I don't know what it's doing. It should have bloomed by now because it bloomed this time last year, but it has buds in the sheath, and then it has these two new growths with sheaths coming out. So I don't know if it's going to put on a spectacular show with 4 spikes and, 10,000 blooms, or if it's just, if these have stalled and that's why it's made these new growths. I have no idea. I'm really hoping it's a case of, 4 spikes at once, but, I won't get my hopes up. And these are all of my Catasetum seedlings. So as I said earlier in the video, it's a case of go with the flow. If your orchid wants water, give it water. Don't completely starve it. I did make that encouraging Catasetums into dormancy video, and somehow a lot of you guys took the information as I should just starve my Catasetum until it shrivels into nothingness, and that's not at all what I was trying to convey. Maybe I explained it confusingly, but even with my mature Catasetums, if they shrivel too intensely, I will water them. I'm not, that mean. I'm not abusing them, I don't think. But for these guys are seedlings, and they actually came out of dormancy very, very late because I purchased them from a vendor in Brazil, and Brazil has a different growing season than we do here in the northern hemisphere. So they came out of dormancy around June or July, and I've just been watering them and fertilizing them. As you can see, that is all Osmocote right there, and the sphagnum is nice and moist. See, no crunchy sound. They are shriveling a little bit, and that is because I was keeping them slightly drier. I had an outbreak of necrotic brown rot right there. You can see the brown leaf spotting. So I sprayed them with hydrogen peroxide, and I kept everything a little bit drier, and I also implemented more airflow. And that seems to have sort of staunched the infection that they were getting. So we'll see what happens. But yes, I do have some Catasetum that are still growing, and I am watering them and fertilizing them normally. And then over here, I was getting lots of requests to do an update on my Cattleya dowiana. So you can see it's down to 1 bulb, and it has a new growth coming out right here. I don't know if it's going to survive, but I will cross my fingers and hope for the best. I've already planned to purchase another one, though, just because I don't have faith in this one completely recovering, and even if it does recover, it's going to take a very, very long time. So I completely forgot to update you guys on my Laelia anceps. It has finally pushed out 2 buds from the sheath. So it made this spike back in June or July, and it's just now pushing out the buds at the end of November. So if you're not very patient with your Cattleyas, I probably wouldn't get a Laelia anceps because they take forever to bloom. But I do have this one in lava rock, as you can probably tell, and it's doing fantastically in lava rock. I absolutely love this medium, and I'm using it for most of my Cattleyas. Here's another example of a seedling in the lava rock mixture, and you can see that it just throws out tons of roots and just attaches itself to the lava rock. Alrighty guys, I think that is going to do it for this month's update. If you guys have any questions or comments, you know where to leave them. I will post a link to Wade's website in the description section of this video, and you can always follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram and ask me questions there. And until next time, I love you guys, and I'll see you later.